Morning, everyone. Virgo Triad here. It is June 18th, 2019, and I hope everybody's got a great week going for yourself. Okay, so I got such a massive amount of comments and emails on the upload of the new series, Sovereign Citizen History, where we actually go back and take a look at some of the people that spearheaded this sovereign citizen movement. That I've decided to continue on with it. And today we're going to be taking a look at our very own Johnny Liberty. Now, Johnny Liberty, if you guys know, for those of you that have already taken a look, I've been uploading parts of the Global Sovereign Citizen Handbook for you guys, and that is something that I know a lot of you were very interested in. I am still working on getting those parts updated. It takes a very, very long time in order to convert all of that over or turn it into a video and upload it. We've got about 9 hours of that up currently in a playlist that you can find if you go onto Virgo Triad on YouTube and look through my playlist. You will see there's one that is called the Global Sovereign Citizen Handbook, and it has those 9 hours in it already. Now, Johnny Liberty is an interesting character. And we're going to be going over briefly some of the things that he's done, some of the problems that he's had, and where you can find additional information on him. And then I've got a surprise for everybody, so hang out with me for a few minutes here. So the picture that you're looking at currently is of Johnny Liberty, also known as John D. Van Hove. Okay, that is his actual name, or at least his pen name that he writes books by. I believe it's his actual name because at one point, John D. Van Hove, also known as Johnny Liberty, was indicted by the federal government, and we're going to be taking a look at that case in just a minute here. This is an actual flyer from a seminar where he was charging $15 at the door, and then once inside, you heard his lecture, and you would be able to purchase CDs and books and other things, I would imagine. And one of the things that I find interesting about this is that he claims that the actual seminar is about reclaiming sovereignty for all the people, restoring accountability and governance, restoring a sound monetary system and deregulating the Federal Reserve, building renewable energy infrastructure, and building local regional resource centers. Now, that all sounds great and wonderful until you actually find out that the majority of everything that he spoke about in all of his seminars was a total scam. Okay, what you guys are looking at is an actual PDF format of the Global Sovereign's Handbook by Johnny Liberty. Now, this is over 350 pages long. It is very, very small, okay, in its writing. It's got a tremendous amount of references to other books and other sovereign citizen websites. Some of them still available. Most of them are have gone missing, I have found. This is exactly what I have been converting into audio for you guys to listen to. And as I said, there's a playlist of the first 9 hours of it. However, if you don't want to wait, because it's taking me longer than what I had anticipated in order to get these uploaded, because it is so time consuming just to get them converted, you guys can actually take a look at the link below this, the description, or in the description of this video, and you can use that PDF to upload it onto your Google Drive, and you can have actually Google Drive or your Google Chrome browser tool read it to you, so you don't have to wait. Okay, so that's all that I wanted to say about that. Also, the fact that this is the writer of this book that we're talking about today. All right, what you're looking at right now is a press release that was put out by the United States Attorney's Office, District of Hawaii, by the Department of Justice, and this was put out May 30th of 2006. I will link this in the description also so that you can read the whole thing, but the important things I'm going to read right here. Okay, so on May 30th of 2006 in Honolulu, Hawaii, John David Von Hove, also known as Johnny Liberty, was sentenced to 27 months in prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release for his role in a tax and wire fraud scheme. Van Hove previously pled guilty to 1 count of obstructing and impeding the administration of the tax laws and 1 count of wire fraud. As part of the sentence, Van Hove was ordered to pay $400,000 restitution to defrauded investors from Hawaii, Washington, Arizona, and New York. Van Hove was also ordered to pay restitution to the IRS based on income he received as a result of producing promotional materials for the Institute of Global Prosperity. According to court documents, Van Hove offered clients schemes for hiding income and assets from the IRS, including the use of, quote, common law trusts, end quote, to conceal ownership and control of assets and income, and the use of offshore trusts with related bank accounts in which assets would be repatriated through the use of debit cards. According to information presented in court, Van Hove offered to set up international business corporations, IBCs, entities that had no independent economic reality and did not represent actual ongoing business concerns. As alleged in his indictment, Van Hove lured clients and their money using a series of misrepresentations and false promises, including offering rates of return of up to 25% per month or 300% per year on their investment money. According to information produced in court, most of Van Hove's clients received no profits and lost the entire amount that they had invested. So let's talk about this just for a second. What he was promising was that you could take, you could produce basically your own economic system by making things like your own, the equivalent to a Federal Reserve note, and that if enough people participated, you could use those basically as currency, and that there would be no interests involved that was a central bank like the Federal Reserve. Is this starting to sound familiar to you? Think of the Law of the Land Handbook, for example. This is something that seems to be a big deal for these people. They really, really, really hate the Federal Reserve. And it makes me question at times what it is that they think actually is the Federal Reserve. We know that they believe that it's governed by entities that it's not really governed by. So we're going to be taking a look at that also, but not in this video. Stay tuned though, because I'm going to be going over the actual truth about who the Fed is and who governs the Fed, which a lot of people don't even realize. So that should be an interesting video too. Anyway, as you see from this indictment, he was not just indicted on tax fraud, which is what a lot of people that listen to him believe. He was actually indicted on not as much tax fraud, although that was part of it, but mainly his scams, okay? Investment scams, IRS scams, trust scams, and just making claims of things that obviously are fraud for other people to do. Numerous amounts of people got into trouble because of doing these things, just the same with that we saw with Winston Shrout, and that we have seen coming out of the April to June scene, where people have been getting fined by the IRS and the Treasury Department, so on and so forth. So this is not anything new, and we're looking at back in 2006 here. The indictment was actually produced in 2005. And we can find video all the way back to the early 90s where this was something that was being pushed by this particular party. Okay, so what is Johnny doing today? That is what I wanted to kind of answer. So I found a lot of information kind of just spit all over the place. There wasn't really any concentration of information on him until I really got deeply into researching. So the yogasourcecenter.com had this little news piece on him where, interestingly enough, the very book that you can download in PDF form, where he himself, let's take a look at this really quick and you guys will see what I'm talking about. Here's his copyright: 2004 Institute for Communications Resource, all rights reserved without prejudice. No part of this book may be used or reproduced in any manner. But then underneath it, it says this book has been freed into the public domain under reservation of rights by the author in 2006. So it's part of the public domain at this point. You guys can download the PDF, you can upload the PDF, you can share the PDF, and he says that even in his book. Now, the interesting thing about this is if you go back and you actually take a look, you will see that you can click on this book, and when you do, I'm not going to do it because it'll take me to PayPal, but what will happen is it will charge you $30 for a copy of that book. Really interesting. So he's still selling his book, and he is selling it via this particular website. All right, so next, I found some interesting information that it looks like around 2008 or maybe a little bit later than that, there was an actual resume that was put up. I thought you guys might be interested in actually taking a look at that. Now, he calls himself being qualified in evaluation and strategic planning for core markets and profit centers, development, sales and marketing, business management and consulting, new paradigm business development, corporate formation and record keeping, negotiating legal contracts, deal making, public speaking and promotions, training and education, producing special events, coordinating graphic design, web development, audio and video production, authoring content, coordinating capitalization, and financing. Wow. All of that on a GED and independent study at Warren High School and School of Living and Entrepreneurship at Michigan State University for 3 years. So interestingly enough, this person who ended up having a lousy deal that he made after being indicted and putting together all kinds of content that turned out to be fraudulent is putting this out there in the public domain as a resume. I found that to be interesting. Here is John David Van Hove's register number to the Bureau of Prisons and proof that he was released on April 25th of 2007. And so he is part of the Bureau of Prisons. I did have a couple of people come at me when I mentioned him way back about a year and a half ago and claimed that I was full of crap, that he never actually spent any time behind bars for any of the things that he did, and that he's a great American, and how dare I mention his name with other scammers' names and all these other things. The truth is that a lot of the new scammers are pulling from Johnny Liberty's information. All right, so there is that. Okay, now what I did find is that this is a website which is sedm.org, Sovereignty, Education, and Defense Ministry. I think a lot of you would find this very interesting. This is almost a religious site, and it definitely goes into a great amount of detail in terms of paperwork and so on of becoming a sovereign citizen. Take a look at the forms and publications from that website, and you will notice the very first thing that you see is a great big red box with a warning in it that says, the forms on this page are not intended as a silver bullet, and they come with no guarantee. However, you can look at all the affidavits, the discovery, the tax withholding and reporting information, all the UCC things, the withholding forms, you name it, you got it. You can become a sovereign, and you too can spend some time behind bars. If you're so inclined, there is also a YouTube channel that is part of sedm.org, and there's a wonderful video that I think you guys might find interesting called How to Leave the Government Farm. Exciting title, huh? And the very first thing that happens when you click on this video is you hear a great big moo, which I thought was hilarious. Anyway, the YouTube channel that I'm referring to is right here, Sovereignty, Education, and Defense Ministry, sedm.org. They have a total of 8,250 subscribers. There is all kinds of information on it, and he does seem to be deeply involved with this group. So this is just an update of what he's doing now. Okay, now for the surprise. I have unlisted You can only use the link in the description of this video. A 2-hour seminar from 1995 that Johnny Liberty did so that you guys can actually watch it, and pretty much everything that is in the Global Sovereign Citizens Handbook is gone over in this video. For those of you that would like to see it, it will be up for a couple of days and then I will be removing it. It's very large. It isn't something that I'm going to put public. I'm leaving it unlisted for those of you that watch this video and want to see it. I don't want to bother others with this gigantic seminar if they don't even know what they're getting into watching. And I certainly don't want to appear as though I'm advocating it. So it will be highlighted and put in the description of this video. It will also be in the comment section for you guys to click on. It'll take you directly there. And like I said, it's an hour and 58 minutes long, I believe. It's very interesting, and it will save you from actually having to read the entire Global Sovereign Citizen Handbook. It is a lot of information. It's all really weird and crazy, and I think you guys that are really looking at educating yourself of what these gurus in the past did that started this huge movement across social media will find it to be an excellent source of information and very entertaining. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, leave information in the comment section if there's anybody in particular you would like for me to review. I will be continuing with this, chances are, as long as you guys continue to want to see these. There are so many for us to go over. It's unbelievable. And you guys will all start to be able to put together where these current gurus are picking and choosing their information from. And you will see that every single one of these is bullshit. Take care, you guys. Don't forget, watch the video.